Okay, so our first one, and keep in mind, these stories are meant to teach you guys about business and legal concepts. Okay, so that is why I present these stories. Now, you're going to see a picture of a very well-known man right here. Okay, if you know who this is, please put his name in the comments. Okay, for those of you who may not be able to or who may not know for some reason or another, this is Kevin Hart, very famous comedian. He's been in lots of movies. He is in a lot of ads. He's a spokesperson for that betting ad. Sorry, y'all, I be hot. I got a fan now. He Thank you, freaking nature. You know, he's a spokesperson for the Bet MGM, one of the betting apps, credit card. But you know, Kevin Hart is out here making schmonies, okay? Lots of schmonies. And like any celebrity, Kevin Hart, you know, he has of course assistants. Um like personal assistants, executive assistants. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, was it about a year ago? An ex-assistant of Kevin Hart went on a popular blogger's show on Wine with Tasha K. That employee's name is Miesha. Excuse me. Name is Miesha Shakes. She went on Tasha K's show and was, you know, trying to spill the details about her time working with Kevin Hart. Here's the problem. Miesha signed an NDA when she went to go work for Kevin, saying that she would not divulge personal information that she found out about him, right? So after she went on Tasha K's show, Tasha K actually tried to extort Kevin Hart for $250,000, saying that, you know, if you don't want us to air this, give us money. Kevin Hart said, please. He actually filed a lawsuit against Tasha K for blackmail, extortion, and defamation. But he also sued the ex-assistant, right? He sued the ex-assistant for violating her NDA, meaning a contract. Now, remember, when you have a contract, you always have offer, acceptance, consideration. So the offer was, hey, you want to come work for Kevin Hart for, you know, such and such amount of dollars in benefits. And meaning the consideration is the dollars in benefits, the money. Miesha Shakes, she accepted. She took the job, right? She signed the contract. Now, Miesha says that the contract isn't void. She says the contract isn't valid. She says it's void. She says that she signed it under duress. Now, when you sign a contract, there are some things that have to occur for it to be a legal signing. You have to be of legal age, meaning you have to be over 18. You have to be in your right mind, meaning, you know, if you suffer from, you know, some type of mental disorder, you may not be able to sign a contract. You cannot be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. You cannot be forced, meaning if they are threatening you either physically or threatening your family, that is not that makes it invalid. Uh, and I think that's about it, right? Now, Miesha is saying that she signed under duress because Kevin Hart promised her a certain amount of compensation and health insurance. She is saying that because Kevin Hart did not provide her health insurance, that the NDA is not valid. Now I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to tell you guys a breakdown. What is this thing scrolling at the bottom? Sorry, guys. I use a shared. I use a shared. What you call that thing? Instagram. I mean, a shared. What is that? What is this thing called? StreamYard. Sorry, I can't even think. Anyway, so where is all my stuff? All right, guys, don't mind that thing scrolling at the bottom. I don't know why it's there, but it shouldn't be. Anyway, back to the question at hand, right? So, Kevin Hart's ex-assistant Miesha Shakes says, "Well, you didn't give me health insurance, so I don't have to abide by this NDA." Here's why she's wrong. Usually in a contract, more often than not, there will be a clause that says joint and severability, right? And you may not know what that means. I'm going to tell you today what that means. When you see a clause in a contract that says joint and severability, what that usually says is if one part of this contract becomes invalid, that does not invalidate the rest of the contract. So yes, Miesha Shakes may very well have signed a contract of employment with Kevin Hart with an NDA that and she thought she was going to get a certain amount of money plus health insurance. I do not know personally whether Kevin Hart provided the health insurance or not, but let's just say he didn't. If Kevin Hart did not provide that health insurance, that still does not absolve Miss Shakes of her obligation to abide by the NDA, because I'm sure she wasn't working for nothing. She received compensation, yes. And again, you have the joint. I'm sure there was a clause in there that was a joint and severability clause that said if one part of this contract becomes invalidated or voided for whatever reason, that does not invalidate the rest of it. So Miss Shakes, she is going to trial. I believe the trial may have already started. And she's gonna have to answer these questions. How many of you do any of you think that Miesha Shakes should not be sued? Was she just is she absolved of adhering to the NDA because Kevin Hart did not provide her with the health insurance that she says he promised to give her? Let me know what you think. Now, whether you think that or not, you need to understand that when you have a contract, if there is a section in there that says that that addresses joint severability, if one part of the contract doesn't work, that doesn't invalidate the entire contract. Okay. All right. So good luck to Kevin Hart and Miesha Shakes. But let me know in the comments. Who thinks, if you think Kevin Hart is going to win, put Kevin Hart in the comments. If you think the assistant Miesha Shakes is going to win, put Miesha. Okay. Here we go. Let me close these out. So, and let me get this and this. Do we have any NASCAR fans in the house? If we have any NASCAR fans, please put a car emoji in the comments. Okay. Eric the Great, at the end of Americans are the type of Eric the Great, I don't know what that has to do with this broadcast, but we're not talking about that right now. Okay.